Hello and welcome everyone. In this video, we will understand as a business analyst how to get started for a migration project, right? No matter which country you are into or which bank you are into or for which um, network you are migrating your bank's messaging in terms of ISO 222. If you are in USA, you are migrating it from the Fedwire to ISO 222, or you are in UK, you're migrating your backs into ISO 222 or empties into ISO 222, then you can follow the same procedure how to get started with this. And for this, we have a session. I have already mentioned that we have a course program where you can learn about the migration of empties into the ISO 222 that you can purchase it. In this video, what I'm going to teach you is how to get started or how to create a product backlog items when you want to migrate your MT103 into in terms of pack 008, right? So I'm not going to um, help you to understand how to create a project and so on, right? Those are the basic things as a business analyst you should be able to do it. And in product backlog items, right, you should be also able to write the epics. In this case, what I'm going to walk through is what are the how does the epics look like, or how you can create the epic, right? So those things is what I'm going to demonstrate to you. And I have taken two of the epics. For one is for MT103 migration to PAX 08, and another one is MT202 migration to PAX 09. Now, I'm not going to explain how we got this epics and all, because this is part of a business analyst work. And if you want to understand about entire business analyst things, then you can drop an email to us, swiftpaymentguru at gmail.com, and we would provide the necessary support for that in terms of your ISO 2022 migration work. Here, I'm just going to give you a basic insight how you can create your epics and the user stories, and it can change and it can vary from bank to bank. Just I have taken one of the example. So let me take the first one, and I am taking the first one. I'm just opening the first one. So I just have taken, considering the product owner or the stakeholders has provided this. So this is my first epic. So as a business, what they want for this MT103 migration to PAX 08 is, right? So for them, as a bank, they would need to migrate outward MT103 payment message to ISO 222 PAX 08 message, so that the Swift network successfully acknowledges the receipt, right? So this is their basic requirement when you would go through with the Zindas and the calls and product backlog refinement calls. And then you would have this acceptance criteria, which you would derive it from the product owners and the stakeholders itself. And they would sign up this epics as well. Okay, or this is one of the epic or the requirement which needs to be developed as part of this project. In this acceptance criteria, right, for the business, given that the outward customer credit transfer is initiated from any channel. Now this and channel can be multiple channel in a project in a bank. They have just provided any channel, so it means applicable for all the channels. That has to be modified in terms of user stories later on, but this is how they will think in terms of the business as a bank. So given that outward customer credit transfer initiated from any channel, bank receives a request for the payment, bank decides to release the payment via Swift network, then Swift shall receive the package rate basis. This is one of the acceptance criteria for them. Next one is similar to that, and the bank gateway receives a successful ACK for package rate from the Swift. This can be another acceptance criteria, and then they can add on multiple acceptance criteria for that. Now, based on the acceptance criteria and the description, as a business analyst, you should be able to write down the user stories. Basically, you cannot have one epic develop at once, because it would take a lot of time and effort. So for that, you would divide it into the multiple user stories splitting, right? So whether you do it with your horizontal slicing or the vertical slicing, that is all together depending upon your project work. But basically, you will do it the vertical slicing, wherein you would have the test of all those layers, not only with the one layer development, but from a small part from each of the layers, right? So under that, you can write down the user story. So this is the user story under that. So under this epic one, you have two user stories are basically, and let me open this under this epic, right? You would have already written two user stories. So these are the user stories. If I go back to the backlog items, you would be able to see these are the two epics, and these are the two user stories which you have written and put in this print one activity. And this is part of epic one only. You can see over here. If I open the first one, I'll just open to you, and let's open this one. And this user story tells you about one of the channel. So in this, as an operation user or as a system, I want to send package rate message to Swift network for the payment received for us to be channeled so that the payment gateway receives successful acknowledgement. For that also, you would receive the acceptance criteria. Given that outward customer credit transfer is initiated from S2B channel, straight through banking is one of the channel. When the system receives the request of payment and system releases payment message by Swift network, then our gateway system of the bank receives successful act for the package rate received from the Swift. Now this description, you would write it because as we know that user story is written in terms of what your system should behave in order to ensure that it meets to the requirement, basically the epic, right, as per the requirement. And for that, what is the acceptance criteria for that, right? That also would need to be described. So given that the outward customer, so this acceptance criteria is when the S2B from the S2B channel, this customer credit transfer MT103 is initiated, or call it as customer credit transfer payment is initiated, then they should be able to send out this package or 8 message, and for that you should receive successful act from the Swift network itself. So that is what this first user story defines. And for that user story, you can have a multiple task created for it, development task, testing task, and into the development again, whether it's for user interface or database or server logics codes, right? If there are multiple applications which are impacted, all those tasks needs to be created and need to be assigned to the respective person. And that is how you will get to have this first user stories done and dusted, right? When it meets to the acceptance criteria, this will be done and dusted. So this is how you would write your epics and user stories in terms of migration to ISO 2022 as a business analyst or a product owner. So hope this would be a very informative session for you. And if you want to learn more about this, and in terms of ISO 2022, I would recommend you to drop an email to us, and you can purchase our Swift payment course, or you can purchase our ISO 2022 migration course. So you can drop an email to us at swiftpaymentguru@gmail.com, and we have two of our batches, which is Swift Payment Course Program, where you will get it in international rupees 5,000, and this is designed by me, 8 years experience into SME, into the IT industry in terms of the payments. You'll get entire course videos, slide views for the teaching, documents into the Swift messaging and ISO 2022. You'll get the receipt, MT to MX converter for MT103 to PAX08 and MT2022 to PAX09, which is developed by myself with an experience. You'll also receive the expected interview questions and platform to discuss. So this is what you will receive in the Swift payment offline, Swift payment course program. You'll get the entire videos, right? And there is one, this is the newly launched one, which is quite popular, and this is in high demand right now because The world is migrating into ISO 2022, as in all the high value payment system, and all the banks are migrating into ISO 2022. And if you want to know how to migrate and what are the things which you need to understand in terms of you to get started with the ISO 2022 migration, right? This is the best program you can make use of, right? It costs only international rupees 10,000 rupees, and in this you'll also have this video of one of the you will also have the videos on as a business analyst what and how to get started, or in terms of collecting the information. All those information can also be provided in this ISO 2022 migration program. Okay, and not only that, you have this 20 plus hours of ISO 2022 course videos. You have a very good number of MT to MX converter tool, which I have developed it, and you can easily understand the conversion between MTs and MX. Then you will also receive the important reference documents, users guidelines, sample ISO 2022 messages, some business use cases with workflow and different messages involved. So this business use cases is almost 15 to 20, which you will get to know about the different use cases which are used in the actual payment into the production, and that will help you to get started with the different use cases, and for you to start preparing those backlog items. Or if you are a tester, then you can use it for your testing purpose. So I mean, if you are working in this ISO 2022 migration, this is the best program I would recommend as a business analyst or product owner as well. Not only that, as a project manager, testers, and developers, everyone can make use of it. But for a product owner and business analyst, this is the best course you can make use of. And Swift payment course is more related to your payment basics and your Swift business use cases in terms of the Swift MT payments. All those MT1 categories, 2 categories, 9 categories payments are involved in it. Swift introduction and different types of payments like direct payment, zero payment, core payment, different charges type, RMA, accounting, all those information is available. This is also around 20 plus hours of videos. If you are altogether new into the Swift payment course, or you have little idea about your Swift MT payments and payment related, right, you will get entire your basics would be for sure would be enhanced, or you would be good enough to get started or to switch into the organization by just going through the Swift payment course videos, which I provide just international rupees 5,000. So a lot of my students have already got job, because as you know that the world is migrating and a lot of opportunities across the world it is available. A lot of my students not only are from India but from US, Canada, and UK. So they are getting benefited with my course, and yeah, I just wish you also get benefited with my courses, and all the best. You just drop an email to swiftpaymentguru@gmail.com in order to get our courses, and all the best.